Oh, look out.
Move my office again. I know you guys are going to be shocked. Hey,
Good
afternoon, sir.
Do I look gangster enough with this one?
Good evening, weirdos, and welcome to another edition of Livin' Cruddy with Cruddy Joe. I am, of course, Cruddy Joe, and I'm here with the Getty Along gang. We have handsome Jimmy Hansen and the full wizard, Gino Wright Coffinberry. And our guest tonight is an actor, an alleged bullshit artist, and the owner of a vampire dog who likes to chase squirrels. It's Mr. Sky Elobar. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, sir. How are you?
I'm good. How are you? Speaking of vampire dog, is that a prosthetic or is Coco a real vampire?
Coco is a real vampire.
I thought so.
The only Maltese vampire in the whole universe.
And I'm not ashamed to admit, when I first saw that vampire dog, I was shit scared.
Me too.
But when you went straight into the prosthetic question, Joe, I thought for sure you were going to ask something else.
That's later. I got that too.
We can always put that later in the interview and post.
Indeed.
All right. So I think we became aware of you with Greasy Strangler, and that was just an accidental thing. Obviously, you see the name, you're immediately, I got to find out what the fuck this movie is. But, we have a band, and we at our place where we practice, I always have a movie running or whatever, and I was going to surprise these guys. I just ran the Greasy Strangler while we were having band practice and did not say a word about it. 5-10 minutes in, the guys are like, the music stops, and they're like, what the fuck is this movie you're watching, man? And then we literally did not get anything done. It was just so profound.
First off, let me ask you guys, where's your band? Where do you locate yourself?
We are inside Nashville, Tennessee.
Oh, yeah. Right on, man.
Not a country band, though.
Yes.
Not a country band at all, no.
We're the one rock and roll band in Nashville.
A friend of mine who used to I used to live in New York, moved from the Quad Studios in New York, where I used to kind of hang out all the time, down to Nashville and opened that one up. Just an odd thing.
There's so many studios here. I mean, there's literally half the houses have a studio built in.
Yeah, I love Nashville.
Yeah.
That's why we came here and stayed.
Good for you, dude.
So you're in LA, right?
Yep.
Are you originally from LA or?
No, I'm from Pittsburgh.
Okay, I was going to say you had like a little bit of a Pennsylvania thing going on.
Yeah. Is that a problem?
Yeah, we will fight at the end. So we see Greasy Strangler, and immediately your character was, obviously Big Ronnie is one thing, but both you guys are something to behold. And then I ended up finding out about Candy Corn, and because a buddy of mine was in Candy Corn, he's the masked guy, Justin Mabry.
Oh, wow. Justin, he's a friend of mine, man. He works right up in Burbank. Got his place in Burbank.
Super nice guy. I do mask stuff and stuff as well. So not on the level that he does. He's known in that industry as like the top dude.
The guy.
Yeah, he's the guy. He came up to me one day at a trade show we were doing. I'm like, holy shit, here comes Justin Mabry. Apparently he had found some of our music, and he was like, dude, are you the guy that's doing the Gino Royd and the Creeping Crud stuff? I'm like, yeah. And we hung out for like an hour, 2 hours just talking about music stuff. And he was the coolest guy. But then he said at the time, I got a buddy who's trying to get this movie made, Candy Corn. And then I saw you in there, and I'm like, this is going to be fucking insane. I'm like, that guy is probably on the fringe of becoming one of the more popular, if not a character actor, central actor to a lot of these movies. The roles are so memorable that you're doing. And then I'm thinking, this guy probably got hit right in the prime of his opportunity by this fucking COVID deal. How did that play out? Did you have like stuff that you were planning on doing, or?
Wow. We had 3 movies that we were right in the process of doing. One in Germany, one in Detroit, and one here in California. And it all just went up in smoke, kind of. And then now we're getting it back together again. We're regrouping all these projects. Oh my God. It was just horrendous.
So your phone was ringing, and then you just got shut down by that.
Well, I kind of phased out of doing, not to in any way to diminish Candy Corn or Under the Silver Lake or any of the kind of doing little supporting roles to developing my own scripts and writing for myself and getting involved in directors that were like, okay, let's do something with you, make you the lead character. So we had 3 things here, and they're all going to happen. It just, once a COVID thing happens, that really takes the wind out of the sails of the little guy.
Oh, I can imagine. And that's what I was saying before was I assumed that you would be stepping into a more of a face role in these movies. That you could just tell this guy is primed to do that. So, and I'm sure that, once COVID relents that'll happen. And we'll be watching, of course.
I hope I keep you guys as really loyal lovers of this, what I'm doing.
Oh, definitely. Definitely. No doubt. And we've searched out the movies. I mean, I'm trying to round out everything that I could that you were into, make sure I had a broad bit of coverage. There's one or two things that I'm not caught up on yet, but I will be soon enough.
Yeah, I spent the last week catching up on all your movies that are not the Greasy Strangler. I'm sure he doesn't want to talk about just the Greasy Strangler. I mean, geez.
Yeah, we talked about that for like 2 years straight. But not that I'm against it. I love it, man. You guys got to see a short film I was in called American Paradise. It's a true story about a guy who puts a black face on and goes out and robs a bank. Oh my God. I came out of myself and just went for this character and went way beyond what I thought I could ever do.
Oh, I'm definitely going to track that down.
We'll hack the producer's server and get it.
Can you do that?
Probably.
Do you ever have random people come up to you on the streets and yell bullshit?
Out here, yeah. We hang out in Hollywood and people come up to us all the time. Bullshit artists.
When we were waiting for you to come on, Joe was like, well, I'm sure he doesn't want to hear more and more about the Greasy Strangler. And I'm like, man, guy's going to hear that for the rest of his life. It's just never going to
I love it, man. It's fun, man.
Yeah, you can't disparage success.
If that's the door to getting these other projects done for you, man, it's hard to complain. Little Grease got you through the window.
Movie changed me forever.
I could have warned you about that, dude. I always warn people, don't watch it. It's going to change everything about you.
He put it on in practice and I had to stop. I couldn't even play. Like, what is happening right now?
Well, that's not all my doing. I could take credit for maybe 1/10 of it or 1/5 of it. Jim Hosking and Toby Harvard are the geniuses of this script.
Would you consider The Greasy Strangler to be a horror film?
A horror comedy, yeah. It's got a horror element to it, but I don't think it attracts the stereotypical horror fans. I suggested to Jim and the editing team to edit out the penises, have an edit where they just blur out the penises so it could be go out to, and he got mad at me. This thing is like the Napoleon Dynamite with penises.
There's a little bit of that going, a little vibe going. What happened the first time that Michael had to see his, I guess it's a prosthesis?
I wasn't there for that. We all went into different fitting sessions for that. But when he did it, I'm sure he's like, hey, is that really big enough? That doesn't really. Yeah.
I need more bass on this.
Hey, he's got his penis. He still has it. It's down at his house. I was there the other day.
That's crazy.
They wouldn't give me mine. They couldn't find it.
That's always my problem.
But, hey, Justin Mabry's still trying to locate that for me to give it to me. He knows the people.
He knows people.
They work next door to him. And he's like, I'll get you your penis. Don't worry.
Never thought he'd had to say that before. We'll find your penis, I swear.
I consider Greasy Strangler to be like a horror movie through the lens of, say, John Waters.
Me too, but people don't get it as horror. It comes off too, I don't want to say kitschy or
campy, maybe?
Yeah, campy. It's on the campy end of things. They catch that. And then the horror, it's just not enough for them. Maybe they should have put more gore into it. Like when he cuts Big Paul's head off at the car wash, you should have really worked that out.
Now, the films you've been in are all over the map. Is there anything specific that you gravitate towards when you choose a project?
I read the script first, look at the character, try to, if I get to pick a character, or if they say you're the lead guy, I kind of get into this character and see if it's something that will push me a little bit, push my envelope a little bit. Of course, the Greasy Strangler pushed the envelope. I gained weight for that. I kind of adapted my look, got my hair a certain length. So it's kind of the script. I go off the script and the character in my head and then just kind of decide.
Do you think the material in Greasy Strangler is rich enough to turn it into a sweeping epic like Star Wars or something like that?
There was a German company that emailed me that said, we want to do Greasy Strangler too. And I said, well, hang on for a second. Do you have any money? And they're like, well, our last film was 3.5 million euros. And I said, okay, great. I put him in touch with SpectraVision, Elijah Wood's company, and they started talking right before the pandemic.
COVID.
I think it's rich enough, dude. I think we can, I think we can do a GS2 and a GS3. Big Ronnie becomes an insurance agent and, kills all his clients.
The setup story as to what made him a Greasy Strangler.
Like a prequel. Ronnie as the life insurance salesman. He's a trip, man.
The only thing we know him from is the old Video Dead, right, Joe?
Yeah, Video Dead's the only thing that immediately pops to mind.
He's a Vidal Sassoon hairstylist, I think.
John Travolta's hairstylist.
That's right.
Well, he's had one hell of a career. Ended up with the grease. So the stuff that you have coming up, do you have any details you can share about any of that? Or
Yeah. So the thing that's probably going to happen real soon is, you guys know Bird Box, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Josh Mallerman, the writer of Bird Box, wrote this book called A Ben Evans Film. They approached me to play Ben Evans in a short to have a kind of a proof of concept. Now we have a script. They're pitching it, and we're going to film this thing, a feature film, a Ben Evans film. You guys can go out on YouTube and look at the short. It's going to be great, man.
What is the theme of that? What's that center around?
This delusional guy named Ben Evans, who is completely obsessed with this filmmaker named Jim Bradley, who's got books out. And he takes it upon himself to do his own film, to enter into a competition. And he uses dead bodies, his dead parents. He digs people up in the grave.
That old chestnut.
Yeah. And films them and manipulates their bodies and ends up kind of going off the deep end.
That's your character.
Yeah.
Well, you're on your way, man. That sounds insane.
It's going to be insane, and it's going to be something that's going to be unique, my sort of kind of thing on the film industry.
It's cool that you're doing movies that have strange themes and not just falling into, straight Joe stuff.
What else is there to do, man?
There's only so many Greasy Stranglers that come along.
Ben Evans' film is way off the deep end. I'm just really lucky to have had them see the Greasy Strangler and call me.
I can't even imagine that those guys, anybody in the industry would see the Greasy Strangler and not immediately have a role for you.
You'd be surprised, dude, that people run from the Greasy Strangler.
Really?
What are you, a fucking crazy dude or what?
Well, I guess we're just off the same cuff here. I don't know.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
With Under the Silver Lake, which I really enjoyed, that is the only time where I actually saw any little bit of Big Braden in a movie that wasn't the Greasy Strangler. That was the time when you said, and I don't need your $5. Just like him. That was the only time I heard you sound like Big Braden outside of the Greasy Strangler. And what an interesting movie that was, too.
Very interesting. I don't know. I don't want to get into A24 and all that stuff. I don't know what's going on there. But I think that if they just left David Robert Mitchell, they would have just left him alone and left him do his own thing and do his own cut and not get into like taking it to Cannes Film Festival and then poo-pooing it and then coming back and re-editing it and all that stuff. I think it would have been much better off. The less hands, the less cooks in the soup, the better. Even if you end up not liking the soup, it's like what the creator wanted you to taste.
Never understood the focus group angle of art.
I hate that shit. I don't want to know what other people like. Here's what I like. I think you're going to like it. I think you're going to love it. Here it is. We don't like it. Okay, sorry.
Not for everybody.
Exactly.
Anyway.
Well, if I could be a little critical, then I scoured your social media stuff pretty strong. I didn't say anything about your band on there, so you should probably promote that a little more.
You know who Jermaine Clement is?
Of course.
Yeah, he's a friend because we did 2 movies together. And we were talking today about doing a record together, me playing bass and him playing guitar and singing.
Oh, so shit, man.
I'd talk about that, dude. But the music thing is, I don't want to say in the past. I just want to say it's not my central focus right now.
Gotcha.
You know,
And
I only have so many brain cells here, man.
That knowing Jermaine, it leads to the obvious question: when will you be on the Shadows series?
Oh man. I'm glad you asked the question. I'm not going to answer it, but you asked the question.
It's out there.
That's the obvious thing that needs to happen.
Have you guys seen an evening with Beverly Loughlin on Netflix?
No, I haven't seen it.
Well, it's Jim's second movie, the Greasy Strangler guy's second movie.
Okay.
Jermaine's in that, and the guy from The Shadows is in that, Matt Berry.
Oh, Matt's great.
Oh man, I love him. Oh,
writing all these names down.
Matt Berry is so talented, dude. And he's got that series on Netflix called The Toast of London. Watch that, man, if you haven't watched it.
He's fantastic. That guy. I mean, and that seems like such a perfect marriage.
You know why everybody loves him? Because he's a musician. musician.
Yeah.
You know, he started off being a musician. He's a guitar player, and we got to talking about it. And awesome.
Well, we won't pry, but we hope you end up in there because that would be great, man. That would be perfect.
I'd love to, dude. I'd love to. I don't want to pose the question to Jermaine because it'd be like putting him on the spot.
Yeah.
You got to put a little grease on that show.
Yeah, that's right. Get a little
Gotta
greasy.
get some. It needs grease, man. It needs some grease. I'll agree with that.
All the people that watch our the podcast, man, they're all Shadows fans as well. So I'm sure they'll be like, hell yeah, fuck yeah.
Hey, you know, I got to tell you guys something. I don't know if this is going to be on the podcast or whatever, but Ronnie and I just got together and we did a video for this lady in England for her husband's birthday. And we acted out a scene from the Greasy Strangler and incorporated him into it. Ronnie is just fucking hilarious. Just hilarious, dude. I'm cooking in the kitchen. We're doing that thing where I say, you know, I'm cooking, you know, these things for you, Dad. You know, just like you want it. We do that whole scene, but add this guy in. And some of his back and forths are just better than the Greasy Strangler.
Yeah, send it to us.
Yeah, we'd love to see that. Definitely.
Yeah, and it's funny. I went to his apartment in Long Beach, his condo,
right.
And he has no ventilation in it. And he chain smokes the whole time. The whole condo is filled with cigarette smoke, and I'm breathing this stuff. I still don't feel good.
Oh, man.
That'll kill the black mold, man.
Well, he was trying to do you in the whole time of the movie. Maybe it carried over.
He was, man. He choked me and I'm going to evict you. And
do you guys do any of that cameo stuff? Like
we do our own creative shit. And I told the lady in England, it was the first time we ever did a shout out for anyone where we like acted out a scene for a guy's birthday. It's the first one. I don't think we can do any more unless we do that scene. And that would be kind of cheesy. That would be like a wedding type band.
Well, if we wanted to hire you to do something, how would we do that?
You ready?
His agent.
Go fuck yourself, man. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
No, that was worth it.
Now, real quick, is cameo ripoff to the viewer or to the participant?
I think it's a ripoff for everyone. I think they charge this money and you get like, hi, I'm Big Braden from Greasy Strangler. Happy birthday. Have a great day. We gave her a freaking 4-minute video, dude.
Yeah.
It's a ripoff.
Yeah.
You can see it though, with the money that's tied up in like sports stars and stuff like that they have on there. That's just an easy way to crank out $1 or whatever.
Yeah.
You can do like 20 of those in a day and make like 10 grand or whatever.
Yeah.
Right. Nice.
And it takes no time at all. It's like those radio stations where they say, you know, hey, this is Alice Cooper, and you know, you're listening to stuff.
That's exactly it. Are you
like
one of these actors that will film a movie or a show and then never see it, or you see your stuff?
Yeah, absolutely.
I just don't know how you could live with yourself if you didn't actually take in the Greasy Strangler. We would have to tell you the whole fucking thing.
Could I tell you the truth? One last fact.
Yes.
We went to Sundance. I hadn't seen the Greasy Strangler until we went to Sundance. They didn't let us see it.
Right.
They flew us up to Utah. We went to the screening and I almost threw up. I had a visceral reaction to this.
Me too.
I got to go to the bathroom.
Nice.
It's a brave role. It really is.
Mission accomplished.
All the main actors in that really bit the bullet, man, to do that.
Yeah. Hell, even dating after the Greasy Strangler might be awkward. Am I doing it right, Janet? Am I doing it right?
I'm not going to end up like Ricky Prickles, am I?
Hey, you guys don't know this, but quick fact about the Greasy Strangler. You know when we're in the forest?
Yeah.
And we're shoveling dirt into the grave?
Right.
That's actually Ricky Prickle in that grave, and we're shoveling dirt on his face. I couldn't believe it. I'm like, did you guys really want me to shovel dirt on him? You know, they usually have a stunt, like somebody, like a dead, like one of those rubber bodies or whatever. Yeah. It was the real guy.
That's fucking crazy.
Holy shit.
That's
perfect
crazy.
For that film, though. I'll have to admit, I didn't understand what the fuck happened at the end of that movie. I
didn't either, but don't ask Jim because he'll get mad. He'll be like, make up your own thing.
Exactly.
That's for you.
That's right.
Choose your own
art,
adventure.
man. You have to interpret it.
Yes, an interpretation.
Like Monet.
You know what my interpretation is? There's going to be a Greasy Strangler too. None of this shit. You were killed and you turned. No, we're doing a 2.
A big shoe to step in, though. I mean, how do you recreate the unique, one-of-a-kind experience like the Greasy Strangler?
It's really, really, really hard.
Yeah.
It's hard. But a lot of it's the director getting you into the thing and getting you into it. His vision, and you just like blinders, go for it.
Yeah.
They obviously have done it with Texas Chainsaw and The Evil Dead, where they made a serious first movie and came back with like a spoofy, goofy flick for the second one. Has anybody ever done the opposite of that?
That's a good question, dude.
Could they come back with a very like dark, serious drama version of the Greasy Strangler?
If anybody can do it, it's Jim. Those guys are just twisted, man. I'm telling you, his brain is not like anybody I've ever met.
Yeah, I saw another interview with you that you said you liked his directing style on that. People will say, okay, for this, well, you should probably go like this. And he'll be like, okay, and then he'll go like that.
I pitched him an idea that I had about going back in a time machine and preventing rap from happening. Like meeting Dr. Dre as a young kid and meeting these people. And Dr. Dre ends up being a real doctor in the later. And at the very end, he's like investing. He's in front of his screen and he all of a sudden starts rapping. He just starts doing and creating it again. There's no stopping it. But Jim took that idea and turned it into a robot thing. It was the most twisted thing I ever heard. And I'm like, oh my God, how did you come up with that, dude? Trust me, I know this guy's twisted and he will come up with a twisted GS2. I know it.
Oh, yeah, let's get to quiz.
All right. Are you up for doing this music and movie quote thing?
Yeah, man. I'm up for it all. I'm here, man.
All right.
Awesome.
All right.
Do you get the impression that I'm not up for it?
No.
Oh,
We just
no,
want to make
but
sure.
I have to ask. We did the one last week, and I swear the lady wanted to reach through the screen and actually kill us.
Yeah.
Ass. It's going to make me look like a dumb assumption.
Oh, no.
No, we're not going to make you look like a dumbass. That's my job. I'm the dumbass.
Joe's the resident dumbass.
Don't ever try to take my role again, sir. I am the dumbass. I demand it.
We did take that from what we could tell on social media, whenever, that you are like into rock and roll and that.
Yeah, I'm into rock and roll. I'm into jazz. I'm into everything. Classical music.
And a fan of movies and whatnot, obviously. Right?
Somewhat a fan of movies. I'm not like the movie encyclopedia like Joe Talbot or Jim Hosking or those guys. Dude, you hit them with anything. They know everything.
I got 3 songs, 3 movie quotes.
Okay.
I will read a couple lines from the song. You tell me the following line, the name of the band, name of the song.
Oh my God.
And if it's not ringing a bell, or if you're just not sure, I brought 2 subpar lifelines with me. That's Handsome Jimmy and Cruddy Joe. You can just say either one of those guys and they'll help you out.
Okay. It's lyrics.
First ones are lyrics. Second ones are movie quote. First set of lyrics are: woke up this morning with the wine glass in my hand. Whose wine? What wine? What is the next line? If you're not sure, you can reach out to these 2 pros.
I'll reach out to who knows more about this stuff than the other guy.
Joe is a movie guy, and Handsome Jimmy is a music guy, but he should be better at it than he is.
Handsome Jimmy, then.
Shit, I don't know.
Let me read it again.
Leaving.
Woke up this morning with the wine glass in my hand. Whose wine? What wine?
Whose wine? What wine? My wine? Take wine? Wine time? I don't know.
Oh, man, this was like a huge song in its day. Do you know, Joe?
What year?
My wine, Def Leppard.
It's definitely not that. I'm going to say this was 78, maybe.
Oh, wait, 78. Wow.
I was like 6.
Whatever year it was, that it was the biggest album of the year for sure. And this was
You want to know the name of the band?
If you can tell me who it was and the song, that's enough.
Aerosmith.
It's not correct. Do you got anybody know? Nobody knows. Woke up this morning with the wine glass in my hand. Whose wine? What wine? Where the hell did I dine? Peter Frampton. Do you feel like I do?
Oh,
Peter Frampton. Fuck Peter Frampton.
Of course, fuck Peter Frampton. But I'm not going to just go with music that I like. It's going to be shit that people know.
God, that was one of the songs. What's the name of that song?
Do you feel like I do?
But the only thing you really heard on that song was "Do you feel like I do?" Nobody listened to the lyrics.
Nobody knew the wine. I didn't know there was wine in that song.
I didn't know either. That's a great one. I'll never forget that.
It's the
one.
first line of the song. Woke up this morning with the wine glass in my hand. What wine? Whose wine? Where the hell did I dine? You're not familiar with that?
Yeah,
If we would have sang it like that, maybe we would have got it.
But you know I can't sing.
Next.
All right, next. Well, maybe this one's more up your alley. I'm not sure. The lyrics are, forced in like cattle you run, stripped off your life's worth, human mice for the angel of death. What is the next line? And the name of the band, name of the song.
Give me that one more time.
Forced in like cattle you run, stripped of your life's worth, human mice for the angel of death.
Metallica, Megadeth, Queensryche.
Oh, no.
Other way.
Getting
Other way.
You know, Joe?
Slayer, Angel of Death.
It is Slayer.
Oh, wow.
Fuck Frampton.
I got one for you guys.
All right.
Woke up to the sound of music. Mother Mary says
Let
to
it
me.
beep.
Okay, come on, man. Give me an easy one.
All right, I got one more. This is, I think, is the easiest one.
Oh, boy.
Okay.
Take me back, way back home, not by myself, not alone. I ain't asking for much. I said, Lord, take me downtown.
That's what's her name? The three guys. Just want some touch.
That's it.
That's it. You got it.
That's the name of the band.
It's ZZ Top.
All right.
Awesome. Yeah.
I love ZZ Top.
Yeah, that's a great tune. And you didn't need any lifelines. Most of the people that do well do it because these guys answered the questions for them.
Are those lyrics, does he say I'm just looking for some touch or looking for some tush?
Tush. T-U-S-H. Tush.
Yeah,
But it
for a long
sounds like
time growing up, I thought he said touch. No,
That's what I
thank
thought they always said.
they just pronounce it that way. It's Tush.
you. Okay.
Yeah.
So the next three are quotes from movies. All you'd have to do is tell me the movie and the character
Okay.
that said it.
Okay.
All right, the first one is, I'll send you a love letter. You know what that is? It's a bullet from a fucking gun. If you get a love letter from me, you're fucked forever.
Clint Eastwood.
Oh, I wish Clinton had said that. That would have been great.
No.
But you got lifelines here.
Come on, guys, help me out.
I'll send you a love letter. You know what that is? It's a bullet from a fucking gun. If you get a love letter from me, you're fucked forever.
God, that's
This
such
is
a
the
great
second
line.
famous quote from this guy. Everybody always says the other one.
That's a great line, man.
Nobody, Joe? You don't know this, Joe?
I want to say it's a Tarantino film.
Kind of close. Jimmy's looking like he actually might know it.
No. No. The Dennis Hopper.
It is Dennis Hopper.
Okay.
What
I don't
movie?
remember the. It's got to be
Blue Velvet.
Blue Velvet.
It's Blue Velvet, yes.
Awesome. Yeah.
I'll give you that one. Frank Booth from Blue Velvet.
Frank Booth.
Frank Booth.
You fucking looking at me?
Heineken, fuck that shit. F Blue Ribbon. I would have done that one. I figured everybody knows that immediately.
Yeah.
And I have to read this one so I remind myself of, okay, here's the second movie quote. Tell me the movie and the character that says it. One night he finished dinner, excused himself from the table, went out to the garage and got himself a hacksaw. That's when he went back into the house, kissed his wife and his two children goodbye, and then he proceeded to, what movie is that from? There goes Jimmy.
Really familiar.
One night he finished dinner and excused himself from the table. He went out to the garage and got himself a hacksaw. Then he went into the house, kissed his wife and his two children goodbye, and then he proceeded to, he gets cut off at that point.
It's on the tip of my tongue, but it's not coming to me.
If Vinny was here, he'd be coming out of his skin to tell us what that was.
Vinny.
Vinny, yes, the movie man. Nobody knows?
Nope.
I got nothing.
It's the graveyard scene from Halloween 1970.
Oh my God.
Oh, of course it is.
No, I'm ashamed. That's one of my favorite movies.
I know. That's
Not anymore.
All right, so the last one of these before we move on to the Ned Libs.
Please let me get this one, man.
You might. I guess it depends. If you've seen the movie, you will get the quote. And that quote is, wouldst thou like to live deliciously?
What was that?
Wouldst thou like to live deliciously?
Interview with a Vampire.
That's a good guess, actually, but it's not right. The shit was on T-shirts for a couple of years. It was a popular quote.
I like to live deliciously.
Wouldst thou like to live deliciously? It is the only quote from this character in the movie that this was named after, that character.
It's a recent movie.
Pretty recent, last 4 years or so.
Oh.
Well,
not
that's
Clint Eastwood.
I haven't seen a movie in the last 4 years.
Nothing, Joe? You don't know?
Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
That's it. It's Charlie Nataro. No,
Wow.
it's Black Phillip from The Witch, or The Vitch, however you want to pronounce that.
The Vitch.
Yeah.
You know, that was a really overrated. I don't see why people are so hot and bothered about that movie. It didn't do
All
anything.
right, Joe, calm down.
It was all about the goat, man. The rest of it didn't matter. That goat jumping around found was worth the price of admission.
The fox from Antichrist could kick that goat's ass.
That's a fight I'd pay to watch.
Yeah, I don't know if I could watch Antichrist again, man. That shit was disturbing.
It was?
Yeah, Lars von Trier. Yep, disturbing.
Oh, God, that
I
thing.
didn't say it. It's
You don't
how
want-
disturbing.
Better off.
Yeah, it's horrifying, that thing.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how disturbing?
Up there in the top like 5 movies I've ever seen that made me feel disturbed. That was right in them. I just 1 to 10 is one of the most disturbing.
Greasy Strangler isn't disturbing because it is, but there's something about it. It has charm that this Antichrist movie was missing.
Give me the other 4 that are disturbing.
Oh, that Martyrs is one of them. The Human Centipede, I guess, would be one.
The most disturbing movie I ever saw was Men Behind the Sun.
Really? I never saw it.
Was that a home
It was
movie?
about the Chinese torture.
Oh yeah,
camps
with
of
the
World War
with the
II.
bones coming out of the
Yeah.
Oh,
like a
God.
70s movie. Yeah. Oh yeah, that movie.
Yeah, decompression chambers with intestines coming out people's
Oh my
bottoms.
God.
Yeah. Awful.
What would you say, Sky? What movie disturbed you?
The most?
Yeah,
The Exorcist.
really.
That's a good one.
That's scary.
Way-
That's for sure.
No, way back though, I watched it. Today, it's like, it just, it's not that disturbing, right? Because you've seen so many other things. But back then,
Yeah, we're much more desensitized nowadays, for sure.
When you're a 7-year-old Rust Belt Catholic, that shit hits home, let me tell you. I had the same experience.
And that reminds me of the one that disturbed me the most, which would have been Jaws, because the year that movie came out was the year I moved to Florida, and we got to go to the
Timing.
beach for about 3 months, and then it was over.
but I got to tell you, this British series, Penny Dreadful,
Yeah.
I watched the first 3 or 4 or 5 episodes of it, got into it, and I said, I don't want to watch any more of this. That one character in there was, oh my God.
Are you talking about the mummy character or the?
What mummy character?
It was like a
The-
mummy like an Egyptian vampire or something. It was like a really weird combination of traditional horror.
There was a lady in there, a clairvoyant or some kind of a person who was bringing spirits into the room.
Right.
Medium.
Yeah, medium. Wow. I said, I don't think I can watch any more of this. This is so fucking
Yeah,
scary.
too, yeah.
That was a good series. I forgot about that one. It ended so strangely as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a terrible ending. They got booted and they just ended it like fuck it. I hate that. They should have.
They deadwooded it.
They deadwooded it.
No.
Deadwood, man.
All right, so we got 2 other things that are part of our quiz. One of them is, would you be up for doing a Werner Herzog impersonation?
Can I get a little clip of maybe a little example, and then I'll do the impersonation.
What does he say? The penguin marched across the iron shelf, knowing that he was rising at the peninsula to meet his own fate. He would never survive.
He has to walk 5,000 kilometers.
Knowing he would reach his final
The
destination.
penguin marched across the. Give me the penguin.
Fine.
I was just making that shit up.
Oh, that was pretty good, though, man. Give me the line, and I'll do my worst German accent.
Come on, Joe, you're the writer.
The line. How about the rain in Spain falls mainly on the plain?
The rain on Spain falls mainly on the plain.
That's good. That's a good one.
Victory.
Our final bit of this quiz. You remember back in the day, I'm sure you're probably near our age, where they had that thing called Mad Libs.
Mad Lib?
It's like a little joke book, and people would ask you words, and you'd substitute the words and write a little story with it.
Yeah.
Joe wrote a short story. No, what it is I'll ask you for a couple word types. You give me your selection, and then using the word that you gave us, we'll add them into the story that Joe wrote specifically for you.
Okay. Sounds like fun.
Oh, this one's very serious.
It's mostly just me not knowing how to read out loud. Your favorite Star Trek actor
My favorite Star
or
Trek
character,
actor.
either one.
James Earl Jones, Darth Vader is phenomenal.
That works.
Just love it.
A bad restaurant.
Bad restaurant. Probably McDonald's, man.
Yeah, that's pretty shitty.
It's a bad one.
Something that you could sit on.
A horse.
What's your favorite drink?
Wine.
An obscure actor.
Max von Sydow. He's not that obscure, but most people don't know who he is, right?
Right? Yeah.
He's my favorite.
Oh, he's great.
No doubt. Didn't he just pass away?
Yeah. What a fucking great actor.
A lot of great movies. Another actor from Star Trek.
Malcolm McDowell. I loved him in Nexus, the film, Star Trek Nexus. He was great.
And I met him one time at the One Thing here.
Is he cool?
He was not, sadly.
Why? What was he?
He was just, they do the
Raunchy?
thing where you can get an autograph or whatever, right? And you go up, and it was him, and it was Dee Wallace and Adrian Barbeau. Who else was there? May have been George Romero, and they were all super sweet. It was like they were grouped together. And Malcolm McDowell was just like, he didn't even look at you. He was just like, get the fuck out of here. And I was like, wow. And Dee Wallace caught that, and she was like, fuck him. I mean, she was probably fed up with him for the day. He has an excuse,
That's right. He's fancy.
Raunchy though, dude. Why do that stuff? Why even do the thing if you're going to be nasty to fans?
I agree.
I was in Cleveland once at a baseball game between the Indians and the Red Sox, and we waited outside of Roger Clemens' hotel for 4 days to try to get him to sign this ball we caught. He'd come out and say, fuck off. Fuck you.
Oh, he was a notorious asshole, that one. Clemens.
Then we go down to the bullpen while he was warming up. His pitching coach would say, step back. You can't get near the rocket. Step back from the rocket. I'm like, go fuck yourself, man. We're the fans. We make this shit happen.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Throwing baseball around doesn't matter to anybody if he doesn't have fans. That's for sure.
Anyway, go ahead.
A sexy article of clothing.
A scarf, a boa.
A boa, that's good. Your favorite Hugh Jackman movie? Lord knows Joe doesn't have any of those.
The Wolfman. What's the thing where he has the...
That's Hugo Wolverine.
Wolverine. Yeah, Wolverine is
an animal, any kind of animal.
A vampire Maltese.
Hopefully Joe didn't do anything to your dog, man.
Yeah.
Okay.
I wouldn't do anything to Coco.
Another article of sexy clothing.
A smoking jacket.
A shitty 70s car.
Gremlin.
That's shitty.
That's a shitty one.
That was a shitty one, man.
An iconic 80s actor.
Harrison Ford.
This is going places. I don't even understand this one. A place you shouldn't hide a body. What is that, Joe?
A place you should not hide a body.
Someplace you should not hide a body.
Like your passenger seat or something like that.
Your trunk.
Trunk.
Shouldn't do that.
Another restaurant, but your favorite restaurant this time.
Flour and Water in San Francisco.
Called Flour and Water?
Yeah.
Like FLOUR?
Yeah, and water. Woo, dude. If you guys ever get to San Francisco.
Is it like a bread place? Like a sourdough place?
No, it's a foodie Michelin star restaurant. That's like, well...
Hear that, Jimmy?
Mm-hmm.
You writing that down?
I wrote it down.
Jimmy is our cuisine guy here. That's his portion of the podcast. Okay. And the final one, a male body part.
The micro penis.
The micro penis. I haven't even read the story, but I'm
was
guessing.
A female body part. No?
I just read that. Give me a second to
take a second.
Compose myself here. All right. Now we'll read back this ridiculous fucking story. I should let Jimmy do this because we watched the episode last night. We aired that one, the one that Jimmy read. That one was funny. All right. The story is called Sky Meets His Adoring Fans. It's a beautiful Sunday, and Sky was a special guest at the James Earl Jones Zellapalooza extravaganza, located in the banquet room of the McDonald's on the bad side of town. Sky set up his merch table on his horse. Unfortunately, Sky had been running late, so he had to settle for the last spot available next to the table of Hugh Jackman. Sky laid all the swag from his popular movies. Most importantly, the items from Dunstan Checks In were the best sellers. At one point, Sky went over to meet Jackman and offer him some wine. Hugh refused to shake Sky's hand. He did confide that he goes, I wouldn't star in any movie about greasy stuff because I'm too important. Meanwhile, the line at Sky's table had stretched back all the way to Max von Sydow's table. As Sky walked back to his table, Hugh Jackman called out, I know Malcolm McDowell, and I'm a better actor than both of you. As Sky graciously signed autographs while Hugh Jackman intermittently kept coming by to talk about all the actors he knew and how he was better than all of them. Finally, the first person arrived at Jackman's table, and it was Jimmy's mom. She giggled shyly and pulled a boa out of her pocket and handed it to the actor. You left this at my place, she said coyly. Embarrassed, Jackman demanded she leave, but not before she buy an autographed DVD of Wolverine for $300.
Wolverine.
Reasonable.
Suddenly, handsome Jimmy arrived. He scolded his mom for whoring around with Hugh Jackman again and demanded she go home immediately. Dejected, Jimmy's mom got on her vampire Maltese and rode home. Jimmy then approached Jackman's table and shyly pulled a bathrobe out of his pocket and gave it to Jackman. Then, from his other pocket, Jimmy pulled out a smoking jacket and gave it to Sky. Realizing that Jackman had been taking advantage of his friend Jimmy, Sky proceeded to beat the living shit out of Hugh Jackman and then threw his unconscious body out the window where it landed on top of a gremlin. It turns out the car belonged to Harrison Ford, who immediately broke Hugh Jackman's neck and threw the dead body into the trunk. With thousands of dollars Sky made from his autographed Dunson merchandise, Sky took Jimmy and his mom to the Flower and Water restaurant where they spent the night drinking, eating nachos, and laughing about how small Hugh Jackman's micro penis is.
Yeah, exactly. Hugh Jackman's a douche. Wow.
Guy is not my favorite guest we've had.
Thanks, Ruddy Rob. You know what, man? I'll tell you what, though. Hugh Jackman may be hard to beat up. He's pretty fit.
Yeah, he is.
I don't know.
Joe kills him every week in the story.
You kill him every week.
One of our goals is to get Hugh Jackman on this show and then not tell Joe that he's coming on and then make Joe actually do his Nad Lib.
Do you think he'll come on?
Hell no.
No, we think we'll get a restraining order first.
Yeah.
Either one will work. We're good either way.
Let's get our final bits in here, and that includes catching up with Jimmy's CRUDDY cuisine. Is there something going on this week, Jimmy?
Yes, there is. I do the second half of my pizza making.
Did you catch last week's installment, Jimmy?
Oh, yeah, you bastard.
Thundercunt said that was the best one yet. So
let's go to the clip.
To make a pizza pie, then we could rub the thing on the thing, and we rub the thing, and then we got the thing, the dial and the thing. We'll make a salsa first, and then we mix the sausage stuff, and we olive oil and salt and pepper, and some other Oh, we're gonna put some garlic, and then maybe some of the peas. The peas, we're going to put the peas in. Ooh, that's the stuff that makes it up real good. The thing, cause the thing is really good. Squish the dough around the pan, make it really, really good. And you squish it in the thing, put some oil and some sauce hot outside. That's how we do it. Then put the thing on. Comes out of the oven, it looks really freaking good. You can squeeze some garlic too. Why not put some, maybe some freaking cheese or something too? Then you put the cheese up on there. Oh, look at all them toppings. Put some peppers on you too. Oh, that looks so good. I want to eat it. Yum 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 yum.
After Jimmy's clip, let's go to Vinny's clip.
Well, hey, folks, I've got a few things to say, so I brought my cue cards. I am here at the historical Harrisburg Cemetery, originally founded in 1845. It's a beautiful cemetery. It's huge, sprawling, and it's loaded with graves of all different shapes and sizes. So, okay, I want to talk about a flick that I highly recommend. The 1964 black and white classic, Castle of Blood. Edgar Allan Poe makes a strange wager to a journalist to spend one night in an abandoned castle. Or is it? If he survives the night, he wins a ton of dough. No one has ever survived. So the castle is haunted by ghosts who, during one particular night of the year, relive their deaths. This is the night. This flick is awesome. It's loaded with all kinds of spooky imagery, lots of atmosphere, and Barbara Steele. Directed by Antonio Margheriti, Tarantino used that name in Inglourious Bastards. He later remade this movie as Web of the Spider in the early 70s with Klaus Kinski as Edgar Allan Poe. He also made Cannibal Apocalypse with John Saxon. So I watch this movie every October, avoid the public domain titles, and try to get the Synapse release version. Castle of Blood, highly recommended. There's somebody over there.
They're coming to get me, Barbara.
McNasty, who played bass in the Red House Painters?
Do I look like Google to you? Hang on. Okay, Google, who played bass for the Red House Painters?
Jerry Vessel. According to Wikipedia, Red House Painters were an American rock band formed in San Francisco, California in 1988. They were one of the most prominent acts associated with the slowcore, sadcore subgenre. Fronted by primary songwriter Mark Kozelek, the band also included drummer Anthony Koutsos and bass guitarist Jerry Vessel.
Does that answer your question? Great. Awesome.
Do you have anything that you want to promote?
No. No, just keep a lookout, man. Hit my IMDb because stuff comes up there, and then if you like it, like what you see, the disc, whatever, watch it.
Yeah.
Well, assuming everybody's seen The Greasy Strangler, what other readily available movies of yours would you want people to see as well?
Don Verdean is the one I did before The Greasy Strangler with Sam Rockwell. Watch that. It's really, I think it's funny. You know what? Jared Hess, the guy who did that, has got a new series out on Netflix called Murder Among the Mormons. And it's really fucking bizarre. Falsifying religious objects.
That's awesome.
It's great. It's great. Watch Don Verdean, man.
Don Verdean. All right. We do a thing where we show our podcast and then we run some movies after. That's one of the movies that's available. So we'll just add.
Just let me say, I've caught up on a lot of guys' filmography, and I've not yet seen a movie with them in it that isn't good and worth watching.
Thanks, man.
So go catch them all. Got to catch them all.
Trying to do stuff that's good, right? You try to do stuff that's good, so people.
That's right.
Now, Cruddy Joe, Handsome Jimmy, got it.
And Gino.
That's right.
We know Gino because he's the guy that hit me up on Facebook.
That's all we got for this evening, weirdos. I want to thank my pals from the Getty Along gang. We have Handsome Jimmy Hansen and the Full Wizard, Gino Roy Coffinberry, and our special guest, Mr. Sky Elobar, who is absolutely awesome, an incredible individual, and you need to watch every one of his movies, then go back and watch them again. Thank you very much, Sky, for all your time and all your wit and candor.
Thank you. I really appreciate it, guys. You ready?
Agent.
Go fuck yourself, man. No, I'm kidding. Kidding, man.
Kill you and your family and everyone associated with you.